Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Charles Coachman, and this is Bay Area Let's Talk. Bay Area Let's Talk. So today I thought we would concentrate on one item. It's a very important item and a very important day. A lot of us have gotten today off. Many of us have had many days off. But the reason that we are off today is we are celebrating Martin Luther King Day. And so today, basically, this whole entire time that we spend, however long or however short it is going to be dedicated to this. And I just want to make sure that I spend the appropriate amount of time on it, because I think a lot of it has been glossed over, and a lot of the meaning of today has been glossed over and lost. But not today. Not today on this show, and not today where there's a lot of stress and strife and a bit of hate going around, and I think a bit of misnomers, but I'm going to discuss that today. I usually start out my shows by and I'm going to today, I'm going to be saying happy birthday to a couple of people. And that is happy birthday to Jennifer Bazanson Labarth. She is a girl that I went to school with at College Park High in Pleasant Hill. And the last time I've seen her, though, has been quite a while. It was while she was attending Sacramento State. And I've got a few gray hairs since then, so it's been a couple of years back. So Jennifer, and I just want to wish you a very happy birthday. And one of the things that I remember about Jennifer is that a couple of years ago, one of her sons became a policeman. Her son became a policeman, and hey, with all policemen, we are grateful for them. We are grateful for them. But Jennifer, happy birthday. And then I also want to recognize Rob Ross, who is my team leader over at Keller Williams, Silicon Valley. And Rob, wishing you a very happy birthday. And if it's your birthday out there and I didn't get it and I don't have it up here, well, we must not be friends on Facebook, or you just don't like to share your birthday out. But we're going to say happy birthday to you anyway. So if it's your birthday out there, happy birthday. And to you too, especially happy birthday, both of you. Okay, let's take a quick look here before we get moving on. Scott Ricard, or as our friends would say, Scott Ricard. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Scott. And good evening for you back in Florida. Now, I want to go here and I just want to mention a couple things. I'd like to talk about the places that I use and that we use to go ahead and do these live streams. One of them is, and I'll just been drinking tea from this throughout the day, the Grow Live Academy. And that is put out by our friend Ken Walls. And then StreamYard.com, that's the platform that I'm using to go ahead and broadcast today. And then another one that I use to keep in touch with my clients is Hippo Video. So hippovideo.com. So I like to make sure that I just announce those, because those are very important to what a lot of us are doing out here. So I mentioned that today we are going to be talking about Martin Luther King and the importance of Martin Luther King. And I said this earlier, is that I believe a lot of what is being said is kind of glossed over. I heard one of his nieces today say that we have to remember one thing. Now, he is known for an awful lot of things, but one thing that we have to keep in mind was that this man was a pastor, and that his life came from the eyes that he believed that God wanted him to use, and how God wanted his vision to be used. And I think that is so truly, truly important. So I wanted to read a little bit about Martin Luther King, because I think a lot of people just see the pictures of Martin Luther King and hear a couple of short speeches, and we don't really get the gist of the man. But this was a young man that was taken far too early, but he was making some great changes. He was making some great changes, and his way was through peace. And I think that is overlooked. I think that that is overlooked, and we have to focus more on that. Focus more on that. Now, this is coming from a biography that was written for his Nobel Peace Prize, which he was awarded in 1964. Martin Luther King Jr., and his birth date was actually January 15th, 1929. And now his death was April 4th, 1968. A very sad day. Martin Luther King was born Michael Luther King Jr., but later had his name changed to Martin. His grandfather began the family's long tenure as pastors of the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, serving from 1914 to 1931. His father served from then until the present, and from 1960 until his death. Martin Luther acted as co-pastor. Martin Luther attended segregated public schools in Georgia. Graduating from high school at the age of 15, he received the BA degree in 1948 from Morehouse College, a distinguished Negro institution of Atlanta, from which both his father and grandfather had graduated. I'm reading this directly, so none of these are my words. I'm just reading it directly from what this says. After 3 years of theological study at Crozer Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania, where he was elected president of the predominantly white senior class, he was awarded the BD in 1951 with a fellowship won at Crozer. He enrolled in graduate studies at Boston University, completing his residence for the doctorate in 1953 and receiving the degree in 1955. In Boston, he met and married Coretta Scott, a young woman of uncommon intellectual and artistic attainments. 2 sons and 2 daughters were born into the family. In 1954, Martin Luther King became pastor of the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. Always a strong worker for civil rights for members of his race, King was, by this time, a member of the executive committee of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the leading organization of its kind. He was ready then, early in December 1955, to accept the leadership of the first great On December 21, 1956, at the Supreme Court of the United States had declared unconstitutional the laws requiring segregation on busings. I'm going to change the words. Blacks and whites rode the buses as equal. During these days of the boycott, King was arrested. His home was bombed. He was subject to personal abuse, but at the same time, he emerged as a black leader of the first rank, an African-American leader of the first rank. In 1957, he was elected president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, an organization formed to provide a new leadership for the now burgeoning civil rights movement. The ideals for this organization he took from Christianity, its operational techniques from Gandhi. In the 11-year period between 1957 and 1968, King traveled 6 million miles and spoke over 2,500 times, appearing wherever there was injustice, protest, and action. And meanwhile, he wrote 5 books as well as numerous articles. In these years, he led a massive protest in Birmingham, Alabama, that caught the attention of the world, providing what he called a coalition of conscience and inspiring his letter from Birmingham jail. Inspiring his letter from a Birmingham jail, a manifesto to the African American Revolution. He planned the drives in Alabama for registration of blacks as voters. He directed the peaceful march on Washington, D.C. of 250,000 people, to whom he delivered "I Have a Dream." He conferred with President John F. Kennedy and campaigned for President Lyndon B. Johnson. He was arrested upwards to 20 times and assaulted at least 4 times. He was awarded 5 honorary degrees and was Man of the Year by Time magazine in 1963, and became not only a symbolic leader of American blacks, but also a world figure. At the age of 35, Martin Luther King was the youngest man to have received the Nobel Peace Prize. When notified of his selection, he announced that he would turn over the prize money of $54,123 to the furtherance of the civil rights movement. On the evening of April 4th, 1968, while standing on the balcony of his motel room in Memphis, Tennessee, where he was to lead a protest march in sympathy of striking garbage workers of that city, he was assassinated. He was assassinated. There are many things to remember about Martin Luther King. There are many quotes that he put out that have been recorded. And so I wanted to just go over some of these quotes. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of convenience and comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Love is the greatest force in the universe. It is the heartbeat of moral cosmos. He who loves is a participant in the being of God. Intelligence plus true character. That is the goal of true education. intelligence plus true character. That is the goal of true education. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. It is the presence of justice. Let no man pull you so low as to hate him. Let no man pull you so low as to hate him. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. We have to learn that. In these times of strife, in these continuing times of strife, we have to do whatever we have to do to keep moving forward, to get out of these times. One day we will learn that the heart can never be totally right when the head is totally wrong. Things that we need to think about. Things that we need to think about. And I want to take a moment to say one of the things that I've heard and that I truly believe, that although we have not attained everything that Martin Luther King envisioned for our nation, for our world, this nation has come a long way from the time that Martin Luther King gave his speech in Washington, D.C., from the time that Martin Luther King was gunned down. Our nation has changed considerably. For those that believe we are no better off than we were in the days of slavery, that's just not right. That is just not right in my mind. And I think that we all have to go in there with eyes open wide and understand what is going on. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. This is why right, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil triumphant. Hate is too great a burden to bear. I have decided to love. Now, these quotes come from multiple places, whether they're from books or speeches. They're some of his most famous quotes. And I think that we all need to dig a little bit deeper and understand what this man stood for and just keep working at it, working to be better day by day. Day by day. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic nor popular, but he must take it because conscience tells him it is right. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic nor popular, but he must take it because conscience tells him it is right. Isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we want from our politicians? Isn't that what we want from our political leaders, our representatives? Come out and speak the truth. Be honest. Do we have problems in our country? Certainly we do. Certainly we do. But we are striving, I believe, every day to be a better union, to be a better nation. And I think we have to keep fighting for that. We have to. I know that love is ultimately the only answer to mankind's problems. Now, as I said, his niece spoke. This was a man that was a pastor at heart, a pastor by training. And he was serving God. He was a man, no doubt, with his own faults, but he was doing the right things. He was trying to open the eyes of a nation. And I think because of him, our eyes have been opened. And we just have to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. We must walk on in the days ahead with an audacious faith in the future. Wow. We must walk on in the days ahead with an audacious faith in the future. A faith in the future. And that's what we have to have. We don't want to hear that everything is dragging people down, when the reality is the future from 1968 has gotten so much better. We must walk on in the days ahead with an audacious faith in the future. We will be able to hoe out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. That came from probably his most famous speech. We will be able to hoe out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. And that's what we have to have. Hope. Hope each and every day. Each and every day. And we got to keep going. We've got to keep going. Now, probably this is his most famous quote from the I Have a Dream speech. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. One of the things that a group that I was listening to this morning, the person that heads up this group is Jeffrey Gitomer, and he was saying we need to go and listen to that speech. It's about a 17-minute speech. Find something, find the best link on YouTube and play it. Play it, listen to it. It's one of the greatest speeches of all time. And it's short, but it connected with an entire nation. And it went around the world. And it still is today. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. We've got to remember that. We have got to remember that. This man in the short years that he lived. Short amount of years on earth made an awful lot of changes. And I believe that a good portion of his vision, a good portion of his dreams have been found. A good portion of his dreams have been attained. But we still got to keep moving forward. Where one man is wronged, we still have to figure it out. We have to figure it out. Usually on this show, I close it up by talking about music of the day or music history. But here was a song that was written in this time of unrest, a time that was laden with political and racial strife. There was a song written by Dion, of all people. Anybody here seen my old friend Martin? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems a good they die young. I just looked around and he's gone. Didn't you love the things that they stood for? Didn't they try to find some good for you and me? And we'll be free someday soon. It's gonna be one day. And that was part of the song Abraham, Martin, and John. And it's a song that I think that today would be a good day to listen to it, along with the speech. As we celebrate across the USA, in this time of political strife, in this time of racial strife, I think we have to believe what Martin Luther King was saying, is that people are going to be judged in better ways than they were in the past. Let's keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Take one quick look up here. And he did it all by the age of 39. He did it all. Scott, he certainly did. So today is the day that we're remembering the life of Martin Luther King. We have celebrated him. He was not a president. He was not a famous senator. This man was a pastor. This man stood for right. He stood for freedom. He stood for justice. And that's what we got to remember. He may not have gotten that in his lifetime, but he sure pushed us ahead towards it. And we just got to keep moving forward. This is Charles Coachman, and this is Bay Area Let's Talk. Take time to listen to the I Had a Dream speech. I Have a Dream speech. Take a listen to it, absorb it, and remember this man on his birthday, or the day that we're celebrating his birthday. January 15th, 1929 to April 4th, 1968. Martin Luther King Jr. You made a difference, and we all have a dream. God bless. Bye. We'll see you tomorrow.